Hey, friends. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Sunday. So good to see y'all. I'm going to try to get my face, my squeaky chair, in a spot where I can see everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know where you are watching in from. Would love to hear how you guys' Sunday's going and maybe what you guys did this afternoon, how you chose to rest today. I know some people get a chance to, some people don't, depending on if it's a working day or not. I actually got a chance to play music for the first time in church and sing. I played a couple weeks ago, which was awesome. Absolutely loved it. It was good to get back at doing that, and then actually had an opportunity to play, and then they stuck a microphone in front of my face, which was actually really cool. I really appreciate our church and forcing me to get back at doing that stuff. So really appreciate them for doing that. So feel free to leave a comment below. Let me know where you're watching in from. Possibly I don't know what your favorite song was that you sang this morning, if you remember, or even a line from it. Would love to see how you guys are doing. I'm going to make sure that we're going live over on the Instagrams, since those people are fun and I want to get them in on here too. So sweet stuff. Today, actually, usually we end up going over to my parents' house for a little bit, and today we didn't. Brenda, good to see you, friend, from Martinsville, Indiana. Awesome. That's not too far away from here. Here being northern Indiana. Got some fun stuff to share with you guys. Of course, brand new song, Human, just came out. Lydia and Zeke's mom over on Instagram. Thanks so much for popping in, friends. Good to see you guys. I've been looking for a book that we're actually going to start doing, and I know I had a Kindle version of it, but for whatever reason, I cannot find it anywhere. And part of that is we got books in our bedroom. We have books in the dining room on a bookshelf there. There's like 3 bookcases in our bedroom, 1 bookshelf out there. There's another bookshelf that's in the craft room. And then I have like 2 boxes of books out here in the garage. And I went through most of that stuff, still could not for the life of me find the book I was looking for. And then I remembered there was another box of like journals and that sort of thing. And guess what? I found my very first Bible. It's good old Precious Moments, New King James Version. And interesting story about this Bible. So apparently my grandmother was the one who gave this to me back in December 24th of 1993, which is really, really cool. And my mom had our names printed down at the bottom of them. And we were allowed to pick the colors, or we were told we were allowed to pick the colors. And I really wanted it to be silver, like the Precious Moments stuff was. And my mom thought it would look a lot better if it was blue. And so she had them print it in blue. And I remember getting the Bible back, and it had a rubber band with a piece of paper on it that said who it was for or whatever. And I remember looking at it and it saying my name in blue, and I was so mad because I wanted it to be in silver. And my mom was like, no, you won't be able to read it or wherever it's in silver. And so I remember sitting in the middle seat of the van and throwing it down on the floor and saying, I don't like it. And honestly, like for me, I remember being so convicted about throwing God's word and not being respectful towards it because of that. And so when I pulled this out today, like memories just came flooding back from it. And there's actually some pretty cool things. Like I remember this Bible because it had these precious moments, like pictures and stuff in it. So you could always, it was really bad at sword drills because it would always open up to like one of the precious moments, like pictures, instead of actually being able to go quickly. But this was like my entire childhood. Now, the funny thing is, like, so I was given this Bible in 93. And then it has like a My Church record thing in here to write down like important things that happened in your life. So I have the date that I was saved. I have the date that I was baptized and became a member on in the church that we grew up at. I have the new building being finished. that I won second in the most realistic race car for the Awana Grand Prix. And then I have 2 events in here from 2 different girls that I liked. One of them that went to our church, and then the other one that I dated for quite a few years. That I literally wrote down like specific dates about them in my Bible from my church record, which is funny to me how started off with all about my spiritual journey and turned very quickly into my people that I thought were cute. But just really, really cool. This Bible, literally from the dates that are in here, the first, like when I was saved back in '94, and the last event that I wrote down was in 2004. So over 10 years that this was the main Bible that I used and had underlines. And it was funny to see, for me, what I actually underlined. There were quite a few Proverbs in here. One of them, which has been my favorite for a long time, is Proverbs 21:19. And my wife rolled her eyes at me when I read it to her, but I had this underline. It is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. And kid you not, that was from my childhood days. Oh, my camera's backwards. Let me fix that real quick. But yeah, had that underlined. Now, granted, I know that, it's true. But the other one that I had, of course, was he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord, which I will attest. Amen to that. Of course, Proverbs 20:29, the glory of young men is their strength. The splendor of old men is their gray hair, which we use that verse a lot when talking with older people in the youth group that we're helping out. But yeah, there's just a lot of really cool things. I remember one of the verses my grandfather kept beating into my head for good reason. Was actually at 1 Timothy 5, and I think this is actually comes from Luke 10. But the laborer is worthy of his wages, as the 1 Timothy 5:18. The scripture says, "You shall not muzzle an ox while it treads out the grain, and the laborer is worthy of his wages. Do not receive an accusation against an elder except for 2 or 3 witnesses." So it's just interesting to actually go back through old memories and how God's word has been part of my life for such a long time. In Precious Moments Bible. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you guys because it was just kind of cool. The other thing too, I remember this piece of paper was given to me by a youth leader, and it was literally just verses to go to. It was James 4:7-10, James 1:2-17, and Psalm 37. And that's been in my Bible ever since the day that he gave it to me. And I think he gave that to me actually on the youth retreat that I busted my face and kind of rededicated my life to the Lord, which was interesting. So I loved playing basketball as a kid because it was just fun. It was what all the guys were doing, but I was not that great at basketball. And I remember I made the team in junior high for 2 years. The first year I barely played at all. I ran like crazy in practice, put in a bunch of effort for it, and then I only got to play when we were like 20 points up. Granted, I nailed every single free throw every time. And I actually hit a couple of 3-pointers as well in games. But that being said, the second year in junior high, I decided to try it again. And my dad was like, "You didn't like it. Like, you didn't get a chance to play. Why do you want to do it again?" I was like, "Because of the love of the game." Actually, I didn't know why. I just figured that I'd get better and then I'd be the star of the show, and wasn't the case. But I do remember we went on a youth retreat, junior high, and 15 minutes off the bus, we were all playing basketball in the gym, and I got socked in the face with the guy's elbow. And I know it hurt, but I'd never gotten a black eye before in my life. But I got a super huge black eye, was coming off my face, couldn't open my eye, couldn't see very well out of that eye. Youth leaders totally freaked out, had ice on my face, would not let me play anything the rest of the week or the rest of the weekend. You can't play basketball, you can't play any activities, you just got to sit off to the side. And while the youth leaders were sitting me down physically because they didn't want me to get any more hurt, God was spiritually sitting me down and basically saying, hey, you say you believe this. Do you really? And that was actually one of the weekends that I credit to actually taking my relationship with Christ seriously, and not just kind of saying I believed it and not really doing anything with it. So a huge part of my testimony was that weekend, and the youth leader that gave me those verses actually was a super awesome guy. Cora, watching from Winchester, Virginia. Awesome stuff. Thanks so much for coming, friend. This is just kind of story time with Matt, which is me. My kids asked me if I'd be willing to go play a game with them, so I'm going to jump and go play a game with them, but wanted to hang out with you guys a little bit because I appreciate you coming on. And Sunday nights are usually our time to meet. Next Sunday night, however, which is going to be the 18th, I will be doing a live. However, it's actually going to be specifically for a church that one of the people inside of the traders community won the virtual house show, Kim, and instead of doing a private house show just for her, she's like, hey, do you mind if I just do it in my entire church? I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So next Sunday, even though I will be live, I will not be with you guys because I will be doing it specifically for her church, and be doing a Zoom for them, which I'm super pumped for. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I will not be here because I'll be with them. So, but yeah, if you guys want a chance at winning a virtual house show, all you got to do is sign up for the community right here, and log in. And the way it works is literally, all you have to do is, just participate. Every single day, except for sometimes on Saturdays and Sundays, I either will post something fun in there. Mondays we got the Motivational Monday, so I show just a quick thought, a way to encourage you on Monday mornings. Tuesdays is Creative Tuesday, so you can share anything that you're being creative with, whether that's sewing or mowing your grass in crop circles, drawing, whatever. Just encourage you guys to be creative, so you can share that on Tuesday. Wednesday is Welcome Wednesday, where you can just welcome all of our brand new members that have come in over the past week. Thursday is Thankful Thursday, which is fantastic because it gives us an opportunity to just be thankful for what God's done in our lives and be able to share that with the community. And then Friday is actually now, because in the Facebook group, we used to do basically like share your prayer requests. Because I have an entire channel in the Facebook group that is dedicated for being able to share prayer requests in there where we can pray for each other. Fridays is now just Fun Shirt Friday. And Fun Shirt Friday is really fun because it reminds me to, one, wear a cool shirt on Friday, or like just you get a chance to share like your favorite t-shirt. It could be the same one. I've worn my Hawaiian t-shirt, my Hawaiian shirt, not my Hawaiian t-shirt. My Hawaiian shirt I've worn a couple of weeks. But this last Friday, I actually got asked to do a singing telegram for somebody here locally. So I literally went to their work, interrupted their day, sang them a song, handed them some balloons on behalf of her husband, and made her thoroughly embarrassed, and then pieced out of there. So they asked me to dress up super nice. So I wore a vest and tie and all that fun stuff. So that's always a blast. But if you guys haven't heard yet, Human came out on Thursday last week, is the brand new single from the Matt Fawcett single release calendar of 2024. Man, this it's crazy to think, like, we've almost released everything off this calendar. Is that nuts? Like, this was January and we're already down. This is August. We have August, September, October, November, December. Like, there's only 4 more singles that are coming out this year. That's crazy to me. And again, super huge thanks to Janet Stallings for sponsoring this entire calendar. If you love the music that's coming out, you literally should thank her, because of her sponsoring this calendar and the many others who sponsored days for this calendar this past year. That's what's been helping me pay the bills for being able to get these songs out. Because every single song that I release, at bare minimum, if the song production and everything else didn't cost anything, it cost me $50 to be able to make sure that I can distribute it on Spotify, iTunes, all that fun stuff. So, yeah, so the people who are sponsoring the calendars are literally what are making it free for you guys just to be able to listen to and enjoy. So this picture, though, that is on here from Human. Oh, thanks, Kim. I appreciate that. Kim said over on Instagram, it's a great song, which I appreciate. I really do love this song. But this is actually a picture of vacation last year. We were out in the sand dunes down in Nag's Head with my wife's family. And I just thought the picture looked absolutely epic. And considering the song is called Human, I thought it fit really, really well. But if there's anybody that the song is describing as far as somebody that treats everybody as a human and gets back to relationships the way they are meant to be, it's really my father-in-law. He doesn't have a cell phone. In fact, he's not on social media anywhere. He's one step away from being Amish. And I love him to death because he is such an incredible inspiration for me in my life and just a spiritual giant. And the fact that he's in this picture for this song makes me super happy, and that entire family. So that was a special moment to be able to capture that, where we literally just went out to go watch the sunset, climb some dunes. And I had to carry my son all the way back to the car because he was tired, which was hilarious because then as soon as we got back to the car, he said something about wanting me to put him down so he could run back and do something. I was like, what? I carried you all this way, and now you just want to run? Now you have energy? And it turns out he didn't say he wanted to run back and do something. He said something else, and I just misheard him. But super special and super thankful for it. So if you haven't listened to Human, you definitely should. There are links down in the description below or over in my link in bio that you can go check it out. If you guys could do me a super huge solid and like this video and share it with other people, or better yet, if you want to go to the link to listen to Human, one, you can listen to it. And two, there is a button on that page that says invite or share with a friend. If you click that button, it will, if you're on your phone, it will actually open a text message with the link to the page where you can literally text it to somebody else. If you're on a desktop, like on a computer or something like that, and you click the link, it will open up an email that's already pre-written for you that basically says, hey, I listened to this cool song. I thought you'd really enjoy it. And it'll give them the link to go listen to the song there as well. So if you guys could share it that way, that would be awesome. If you just want to share it on Facebook, Instagram, wherever else where you're seeing me post stuff, that's totally fine too. But a lot of you, when I texted out the links initially, when it released on Thursday, I responded with this comment, and I 100% fully believe this. It's people like you that are willing to share it with other people that literally is going to be the difference between me making it or not. And I know so many of you have been so ridiculously supportive, and I cannot thank you enough in saying, hey, I absolutely love this song. I love your music. I want to encourage you to keep doing things. You're going to make it big someday. And I really do appreciate that. But it's people like you that are literally sharing it with other people that is going to be the reason why I can actually do this full time and be able to support my kids, my family, and keep a roof over their head and keep putting food on the table, because I don't have a label that's putting ad dollars and everything else into it to be able to put it on Christian radio and blast it all over social media and get a bunch of radio stations to be able to play it for them, get publications to be able to talk about it. It's literally just me and you guys, which I think is way more powerful, specifically because, one, you guys are way more trustworthy than just some random person on Facebook telling people about it. And two, you guys are the kind of people that know who needs to hear it better than Christian radio does. Love Christian radio. I think there's a lot of good songs that are on there. Sometimes it can get a little annoying with how few different songs are on there. I wish there was a lot more variety, but I get it. Everybody likes the songs that they like, and they just happen to act like my kids on some level, to where they play them ad nauseum until they absolutely hate the song, and then they move to something else. So because of that, you guys are literally, think of you like my label. So if you want me to make it, you want me to get a lot bigger, you think I should be more popular, that sort of thing, it literally comes down to you guys sharing it with other people, because that's how everybody's going to hear about it. I'm doing everything that I can. I'm putting as much of myself back into the music and taking everything that I'm making to be able to support my family, and then putting it back into the music so we can make this thing work and be able to be here for the next 5, 10, 15 years. So you guys are awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you for being willing to share that song, and really just being able to, encourage me through sharing the music and telling me what you think about it. I know, like Kim, you've been super supportive. Thanks so much for the comments on Instagram. I truly do believe that we're going to go as far as God allows me to. In fact, one of the things that I'd underlined in this Bible, I'm going to see if I can find it real quick, because this was, again, stuff that, the Bible that I grew up with. And there was one verse that popped out to me so much more today, specifically because of just the pressures of financially being able to support my family while doing music stuff at the same time as ministry, and being able to find gigs and play for shows for people and be able to have a service mindset and all that stuff. Stink. Now I'm not even going to be able to remember, because I remember just sitting there and reading God's word, but in the way that I did as a kid, through this whole Bible, and just remembering how much God cares and loves us. And again, this is horrible that I'm not remembering anything other than I just know that in that moment, when I'd flipped to the page, I'd underlined it as a kid, and it had meant a lot to me then. But it meant a lot to me then because I didn't really know. I hadn't lived a whole lot of life. I was still a young kid, and the idea and concept that God would supply all your needs was something that, as a kid, it's like, yeah, like God's gonna supply all my needs, because my parents do. I never have to worry about anything. If they were stressed about finance stuff, like, didn't really matter too much because they didn't pass it on to me. And in some ways, God's kind of the same way. He has abundance as his supply. He can create at the drop of a hat. And yet at the same time, he allows us to go through things. He allows us to experience life in a manner that points us to trust him more. Reminds me of the hymn, "'Tis so sweet to trust in Jesus." 'Tis so sweet to trust in Jesus, just to trust him at his word, just in simple faith to plunge me. Now I'm mixing verses up. But essentially, Jesus, Jesus, how I trust him, how I proved him more and more. Jesus, Jesus, precious Jesus, oh, for faith to trust him more. Just the idea that we can continually trust him, and put the full weight of our life on who he is and what he's done for us. Again, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden, in drop of a hat, all my worries and woes are gone away. In fact, I got some stories about that too, while I'm still looking for this. So this weekend, I was going to go over and help my dad with some stuff at his place, and ended up not working out timing wise, which is okay. But I told him, like, oh yeah, I'm probably going to go work on a couple of my vehicles and, mow the grass, that sort of thing. So the grass got mowed, which was great because it hadn't happened for a while. And then I worked on 2 vehicles. I worked on the good old Expedition EL, the one that caught on fire, the one that we replaced the engine in, caught on fire, and then left me stranded a mile from the airport when I was going to visit my sister for a 48-hour trip. And I went out there and I thought, hey, I'm just going to change some relays over, see if that's going to help fix the PCM in it, the computer basically that runs it. Sure enough, swapped all that stuff out, and I'm almost 100% sure that the computer that is in that is now dead, fried, not working, and it's got to get replaced. That's another $170. I'm like, okay, not going to worry with that. I'll get to that when we've got some more margin or whatever in the financial department. And then I was like, I'm going to go work on the motorcycle to get that running, because then maybe I can get it running, sell it. And so I went and picked up this other bike from Ohio to fix the bike, the parts bike that I had, because I needed a right foot peg specifically for it. It's like $150 to get one new for that bike. I was like, oh, well, I can go pick this bike up for $100. It has this part on it. It's going to be great. Sweet. So I put it on the new bike. I got a lot of stuff transferred over. Still got to do some fine tuning stuff to get it running. But I stood up on the pegs on it, and the right foot peg broke. It's like, great. But came in and told Abby, my wife, like, you know what? On some level, it's a blessing in disguise. Because if I had stood up on that and I was doing 65 miles an hour down the highway, one, at best, I probably would have snapped my ankle, and that wouldn't be good. Two, at worst, could have been doing 65 miles an hour, gone through, and then literally like dumped the bike completely and slid under a semi and died. So, minor inconvenience. The bike is broken, but you know what? I'm not, and that's okay. So sometimes we just get an opportunity to trust God that He knows what we need to go through in order to be able to build us into the people that we need to be, so that we can continue to point other people towards Him. And quite honestly, like, if nothing else, I'm kind of proud of all the things that God's brought me through up to this point, so that when that foot peg broke, my first thought was like, man, that's a bummer. But like, I didn't get angry. I didn't get like fuming mad. I wasn't super frustrated. It was just one of those, like, it's stuff. And I'm thankful for the life I have. I'm thankful for my family, and I'm thankful I'm still here. And if something needs to break in order for me not to kill myself on the road, I'm okay with that. So I think it's just a changing of perspective and being able to have other things happen in my life to where I realize, like, life is such a precious gift. And the fact that all of us have an opportunity to live it and be able to share it with one another is just so stinking cool. Cool. We got Janet Stallings. So everybody who's over on YouTube, Facebook, or whatever, like, give her a huge shout out for making these songs possible. All of them up to this point, and the rest of them for this year, because she sponsored the entire calendar. So we got Jennifer Houseman as well. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much for being here. Sorry you have COVID. That is no good, Janet. I hope you're feeling better, and much, much speedy recovery to you. So yeah, those are kind of some of the stories from the week. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I know I'm enjoying it. I love sharing stories. It's part of part of one of the things that I love about being able to do house shows, being able to truly connect with people. Which you guys, if you're interested in doing house shows, you can either leave it in a comment and I will reach out to you, or you can go to the house show page and check that out. Because yeah, that's one of the big parts of, there's a lot of ways that artists essentially make a living doing music as a job and as a ministry. One of those is live shows. And, you know, in order to be able to make money doing live shows, you have to have a lot of people show up at one specific spot at one specific time paying tickets in order to make it worth it. So when you pay like a $10 ticket for someplace, you know, I've seen venues where it's literally, you know, $1,000 or $1,500 to rent the venue. Well, if you're going to do that and you sell tickets for $10, you have to have 150 people. Is that right? 150 people just to cover the cost of the venue, let alone gas to get there, people to help set up, tear down, getting stuff out there, cost and all that stuff. So it's really expensive being able to do large scale shows unless you have large venues, lots of people there, be able to sell out tickets and all that stuff. That being said, one of the ways that I'm trying to kind of make this whole thing float is by doing one-on-one concert type things, where I would actually come to your house, have an opportunity to be able to connect with you guys on a personal level, either play in your living room, your backyard, your church, your community center. I've done them tons of different places. Couldn't even be a local park, as long as you could ask, the local township if they're cool with you taking over a pavilion or whatever. But lots of different opportunities for doing that, and I love doing them because one, it allows me to connect with you guys on a more personal level, and two, it feels more purposeful with my time. If I'm going to leave my family, I want to be able to make good connections with people and really impact people's lives. And so that's a great way to be able to do that. The other way is literally through support directly. So if you're interested in supporting the streams or anything else, you can click on those links or scan the code to be able to do that. I know Janet has helped out with that a lot. There's been a handful of other people who have helped out as well, because it just allows me to keep focusing specifically on writing new songs and being able to get them out into the world to make as much connection with other people as possible. Hey, Vaz, good to see you, man. Thanks so much for popping in. So those are kind of two main ways. I am super, super excited for something cool that is coming up. Actually, if you want to save the date on your calendar, I'm going to let me look at the calendar specifically because I want to tell you what day it's going to be, or days. But my wife and I are looking at doing something together with you guys that's going to be really special. Thanksgiving this year is November 28th. So this would be the 22nd, the 23rd, and the 24th. We are actually going to be doing a marriage conference / marriage focused weekend with you guys. So would love it. If any of you are interested, again, you can shoot me an email at info@mattfawcettmusic.com. I should have had some sort of, hey, do this or whatever, but that's all right. We're rolling with the punches. It's going to be great. But that weekend, we are literally going to invite couples to come with us, actually back to the camp that I grew up going to as a kid, the camp that my wife grew up at, and then also the camp that I worked at for a couple of years outside of college, and really just be able to focus on our marriages right before the holidays hit, and encourage you guys in your marriages to continue to love each other, love God, and be able to use that as a springboard to further ministry in the way that you have relationships with your local community. So I'm really excited about it, mainly because I asked if the guy who not only did our Abby and my premarital counseling, but he also performed our wedding, has been a super close friend, and is actually the camp director at the camp, asked if he'd be willing to speak that weekend, and he was all on board with it. So I would love it if you guys could all come out and make that weekend. I know that you'd have to travel to Southern Ohio, and there will be some sort of an application type thing just to make sure that it's a good fit for you to be able to come and make that. But I'm really excited about it because it seems like, one, we get to hang out all weekend, which is going to be a blast. Two, I'm going to be doing a concert. And that one, is going to be a lot of the songs that you guys have heard. It'll be all acoustic concert. What I'd like to do is actually videotape it as well, and that'd be something that we can release later on, and you guys can actually be a part of it. But then the other cool part is I'm thinking too, and this is really where I'm going to have to get my butt into gear, is releasing the 2025 single release calendar that weekend as well. So you guys will have a chance to actually see the calendar for 2025. Usually what happens with the calendar release is I basically take pre-orders through December 1st or 3rd. I think this year pre-orders will probably go until maybe even December 6th, because what I'll do is I'll order them on the 9th, and it takes me about a week to get them printed and sent to me, and then that way I can get them shipped out hopefully just before Christmas, so then you guys will actually have the calendar in hand before the very first song gets released. So the goal is be a marriage conference It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a time for you and your spouse to be able to focus on your marriage, your relationship with each other, and then also a pre-release of the 2025 calendar, as well as Matt Fawcett private show with just you guys that are going to be there. But it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. So just to get that on your calendar and on your radar, there will be more that I'll be releasing about that as we get closer to it. In fact, I'll probably start doing pre-sales for tickets and things for that weekend coming up this week. I just need to finish some setup stuff to make that happen. But if you're interested in coming and want to know more information, just put somewhere in the chat, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're watching from, just put in the chat like I'm interested, and I will do my best to reach out to you and let you know more details about that when it happens. So you guys are awesome. Thanks so much for being here. Voss, watch your transmission repair video. You truly are a hands-on fella. Yes. I actually talked about that this morning with our the guy who's over our tech stuff at church, and told him that I was working on vehicles this weekend and that sort of thing. And honestly, there's a really good reel somewhere on either Facebook or Instagram, and somebody is asking his buddy after his buddy had fixed his truck for him, like, oh man, like I can't believe that you how'd you get so good at fixing things? It's like, well, because I'm poor. So the only way it's going to get fixed is either I figure it out or it just stays broken. Because I can't afford to just take it to a mechanic. So yeah, I've got vehicles that are old and I know how to fix the grand majority of what's broken on it, or I will figure out how to fix the grand majority of what's broken on it. So that's why I have old vehicles and why I spend a lot of my time underneath of them, so that I don't have to spend time underneath of them on the side of the road somewhere, which I've done before and it's not fun. Awesome. Kim, you're interested. Sweet. I'll reach out to you and let you know. Yeah, poor definitely makes you very resourceful, or at least somewhat resourceful. So, but appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for letting me come on here and just chat with you. If you're expecting me to play music, maybe I'll do that next time. My guitars are all over the house right now because I had them at church this morning when I was playing. But if you're interested, I guess you can look up Winona Lake Grace Brethren Church in Winona Lake, Indiana, and you can watch me play guitar and sing a little bit for church this morning, which I will say, absolutely phenomenal service this morning. I love our church. I love not just the members, but our pastoral staff. And it was a really, really heavy service in a good way. We're going through Romans 1. So, yeah. Hey, Voz, thanks so much. Human is great. I appreciate that. That's definitely a song that's been heavy on my heart for a while, and really just glad to get it out. In fact, my wife and I were just talking about that for this evening before I jumped on, and she was like, yeah, she's like, I just feel like even with the political climate, like there's just a lack of respect for whoever is in office. It doesn't matter if it's a Republican, Democrat, like there's just a lack of respect there. And it's almost like because it's so easy just to type whatever we want to on social media that we don't have a repercussion effect of what it would be like to say that to somebody in person. In fact, one of the things that broke my heart the other day was somebody was specifically talking about one of the political candidates and the fact that they were showing them with his family and saying he was a grandpa and a dad, and they're like, don't let them humanize him or whatever. Like, no, like we are all humans. Even political figures are human beings. And you know what? As much as you may like or not like whichever political figure you're going to vote for, they're both made in the image of God. I may not agree with decisions on either of them at times, or I may agree with decisions from both of them, or anybody who's running. I will say this. Jesus is still king. He sits on his throne. There's nothing that's going to happen in November that's going to change my eternal status as a son of God. And as much as I would love for one of them to win, because it would make my life easier and potentially more enjoyable in the short run, My concern is more with the eternal salvation of the people that I have access to and influence in. I can't change anybody's mind. That's the Holy Spirit's job. But I can say this: as soon as my eyes shift from my eternal purpose, I am not going to be very good at what I need to do in order to be effective in this world. So, that said, that's really where I am. I will be voting for sure in November, as I encourage everybody to vote. You guys should. You have the ability to participate, and you should. And I don't know why I got on a spiritual rant, other than the fact that human came up because my wife was literally saying that we've gotten to a point where we're not treating each other well because we have the screen in between to where we can put it on as a mask and pretend, we can just lob grenades at people over top of our shield of social media. And if nothing else, the song Human, the reason why I wrote it and the reason why I share it with you guys is because I want you guys to be more human, be connected with people. If you're scrolling on Instagram, stop for just a second and wonder, and even reach out to the person who you're watching and just consider, do you have a relationship with that person? Make your life count. You only have so many moments. You only have so many breaths. Make it count for the best. It is definitely worth living, and I want you to live it well. My whole goal with writing music and recording it and releasing it is to comfort the afflicted and confront the comfortable. And a lot of times what happens is the people who need comforting the most are then the ones that turn out to be comfortable and need to get a good swift kick in the rear to go start serving the people who are uncomfortable and needed comforting just like they did. So go serve people with purpose. Go live with purpose. Let the breath in your lungs actually be breathed out in a way that gives honor and glory to God, and serve the people who are around you. There's nothing more important in this life than pouring your heart out for other people and letting them know that. And the next time you try to be a keyboard warrior, just pause and think, there is a real life person on the other end of that screen. Is this going to build them up or tear them down? My mom used to say to me all the time, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And it's true. There's so many times where I have very not nice things to say to people, and it typically is not going to actually build people up or cause the change that I want to have happen. And you know what? That's all right. I don't need to be the change for everybody. I just need to do my best to empower other people to be able to live a way that will actually be life-giving. And life, true life, comes with truth and with love. You have to have both. So appreciate you guys. You're awesome. I love every single one of you. Thanks so much for coming on here. Brenda, good to see you. Vaz, of course. Kim, Chandabear, you guys, just thanks so much for being here. You guys are awesome. Janet as well. Everybody else who didn't comment, but you're here, thanks so much for being here. Feel free to comment. I love being able to see them, and I don't bite hard. Just kidding. But do appreciate you guys. You guys are fantastic, and would definitely love to help you out in any way that I can. Again, if you want to hear more music and be a part of helping me get it out to the world, best thing you can do that's completely free is go to the link listed below this video and literally just click invite a friend, that button that's on the webpage for Human. It will either show up as an SMS text that you can literally just type in your friend's phone number or send it to somebody, or it'll show up as an email if you're on desktop, and you can send that email off. And you can send it to as many people as you want to so that they can hear the song as well. I'm going to do that with all future releases, so it'll be really, really easy for you guys to share it with whoever you want to. And of course, if you know a record label exec that you're just like, hey, you should totally sign this dude, by all means, go for it. But I will say this, my ultimate goal is not to make $1 million. It's to make 1 million impacts in people's lives so that they know the reason why they're here and feel empowered to go live the way God has called them to live and use the breath in their lungs on purpose to go and impact and affect change in this world for the glory of God. If we can make that happen, I'm a happy guy. And you guys are all part of it. So thanks so much for being here. You guys are awesome. I'm going to go play with my kids real quick right before they go to bed. Have a fantastic rest of your Sunday evening. You guys were created on purpose with a purpose, and my goal is to help you guys go live and walk with purpose by creating music that comforts the afflicted and confronts the comfortable. So thanks so much. Have an awesome evening. Be watching out tomorrow inside the community, which if you haven't joined, go join now. Tomorrow there'll be another Motivational Monday post, of course. That'll be super encouraging for you guys to launch off your entire week with. So thanks so much. Have an awesome evening. Love you guys, and we'll see y'all soon.